Chosen one, your I don't give a flip era is being activated, and your opinion of love is about to ruffle some feathers. Something deep in your soul just flipped a switch. Suddenly you're no longer romanticizing connections that drain you. You're dissecting them with clarity that scares people. While others are busy defending fantasy, you're exposing the truth beneath it. You've always seen through red flags disguised as passion, but now you're done pretending you don't. It's time to say what everyone's afraid to admit. Love isn't supposed to hurt, confuse, or diminish. Your honesty will shake some foundations, but it's necessary. You're not being cold, you're being real, and the world's about to hear your version of love, unfiltered and unapologetically true. Right now, there's chaos unfolding in the online relationship advice space that's serving as a perfect teaching moment for what you're being called to do. You've been watching situations develop, and your internal alarm system has been going off consistently. Your ability to read energy through screens, through carefully curated content, through the spaces between words, that's not something everyone possesses. When you see certain relationship dynamics playing out publicly, something inside you immediately recognizes the patterns: the love bombing disguised as romance, the manipulation tactics wrapped in spiritual language, the way someone can use terms like manifestation and divine timing while demonstrating understanding of neither concept. You see it clearly. You've probably noticed how predators study people who are building platforms, especially those teaching about love and relationships, watching from the shadows, taking notes on vulnerabilities, learning exactly what words to use and when to use them, positioning themselves as the answer to prayers, while secretly planning to exploit the very openness that makes someone effective at helping others. The meeting stories that don't add up, the coincidences that feel too convenient, the way someone appears exactly when a person is at their most vulnerable, armed with all the right words and perfectly timed gestures. You see these patterns because you've either experienced them yourself or witnessed them happening to people you care about. There's a particular type of person who seeks out those with growing influence, not to genuinely support any mission, but to attach themselves to that rising energy, presenting themselves as collaborators, as potential partners, as people who really understand what you're trying to build, then revealing true intentions once feeling secure in position. Listen carefully. The lesson isn't to never trust anyone. The lesson is to recognize that some people study you, not to love you better, but to use your own growth against you. Memorizing your past hurts to position themselves as the healing you need, learning your language to speak it back to you, while meaning something entirely different. This is why your opinion about love is going to ruffle feathers. You're going to call out behaviors that others ignore or excuse. You're going to point out red flags that people desperately want to paint green. You're going to be the voice that says that meeting story doesn't make sense when everyone else is celebrating the romance. And when you do this, watch what happens. Watch how the manipulators reveal themselves through reactions. Watch how people who benefit from collective delusion try to silence you. Watch how your divine protection activates in ways that shock even you. Your gift isn't just seeing through individual situations. It's recognizing the broader patterns that keep people trapped in cycles of dysfunction. You understand that someone who can't control impulses, who can't manage emotional regulation, who uses manipulation as a primary relationship tool, cannot lead others toward anything healthy. The ability to spot authentic connection versus manufactured chemistry is becoming more valuable every day. People are surrounded by examples of relationships that look perfect on the surface, but are actually elaborate performances designed to hide chaos underneath. Someone needs to help distinguish between real intimacy and skillful presentation. That someone is you. Your calling involves helping people develop the same pattern recognition you've cultivated, teaching them to trust initial instincts instead of talking themselves out of what is clearly visible, showing them that love shouldn't require constant explanation, justification, or defense to outside observers. The chaos you're witnessing isn't random. It's providing you with case studies in exactly what you'll be helping people avoid. Every manipulation tactic you identify, every red flag you spot, every moment your internal alarm system activates, all of this is preparation for the work you're about to do. But something else is happening simultaneously. Your financial situation is about to shift in ways you haven't anticipated. That purchase you made recently, the one that felt reckless, the investment in your health or your equipment or your growth that created temporary stress, that was actually the universe testing your willingness to bet on yourself. You passed the test. Your creative gifts are about to become profitable in ways you haven't imagined. The same authenticity that's revolutionizing how you see relationships is the key to financial abundance. Your willingness to speak truth, to ruffle feathers, to stand firmly in your perspective regardless of popular opinion, these qualities are about to become your greatest assets. Commission-based opportunities are coming. Income streams you haven't even identified yet are activating. And here's the key. You won't have to manufacture content or pretend to be someone you're not. You'll earn by simply being yourself and sharing genuine perspectives. The high-pressure sales tactics, the manipulation-based marketing, none of that will be necessary for you. Your energy is shifting into something that's going to shock people who thought you were predictable. The version of yourself that used to accommodate, that softened words to protect other people's feelings, that questioned perceptions when conflicting with popular opinion. That version is dissolving. What's emerging is someone who stands unshakably in truth, not because you've become harsh or uncaring, but because you've realized that diluting insights to make them more palatable actually does a disservice to everyone involved. People don't need another voice telling them what sounds good. You're here to illuminate what needs to be seen. You're about to encounter situations where family members, friends, or romantic interests try to test your new boundaries. Having grown accustomed to a version of you that could be manipulated through guilt, obligation, or the threat of conflict, about to attempt the same tactics that worked before, expecting the same results. The difference is that you now recognize these approaches for what truly are. When someone tries to make you feel responsible for emotional reactions to your honesty, you see the manipulation clearly. When people attempt to use your love for others as leverage to get what's wanted, you understand the game being played. If you recognized yourself in this message, hype this video to guide other chosen ones to this truth. Your divine protection is activating simultaneously with your truth-telling abilities. Every time someone has tried to retaliate against you for speaking up, for setting boundaries, for refusing to participate in dysfunction, the consequences have fallen back on them instead of landing on you. This isn't coincidence. This is how the universe responds when someone is aligned with authentic purpose. You're going to witness true characters revealed when people realize control and influence over you no longer works the way it used to. Some will respect your evolution and adjust behavior accordingly. Others will reveal that the entire relationship with you was based on what could be extracted rather than genuine care for your well-being. The people who become upset when you stop enabling poor choices, who get angry when you refuse to validate victim narratives, who accuse you of being harsh when you simply stop pretending destructive patterns are acceptable, these reactions tell you everything you need to know about intentions. Your ability to remain calm while others lose composure, to speak clearly while others resort to emotional manipulation, to maintain your position while others attempt to gaslight you into doubt. These are not just personal strengths. These are the exact qualities that will make you effective at helping others navigate similar situations. Remember that person I mentioned at the beginning, the one planning a return, about to make a move. Someone from your past is about to resurface, having been planning this encounter, rehearsing what will be said, how you'll be approached, what angle will be used to try regaining access to your energy, having no idea that you're operating from a completely different frequency now. The version of you expected to encounter no longer exists. Prepared for the person who used to explain endlessly, who used to engage in circular arguments, who used to accept blame for other people's reactions, about to be completely unprepared for someone who simply states position and refuses to engage in drama being attempted. Your presence alone is going to reveal intentions. The performance won't be maintainable when confronted with someone who sees clearly and responds from a place of centered power rather than reactive emotion. The contrast between energies will be so obvious that even denial won't be possible. This encounter, when it happens, will serve as confirmation of how much you've evolved. Instead of being triggered back into old patterns, you'll observe the situation with detached clarity. You'll see the attempts at manipulation for what truly are, and you'll respond in a way that protects your peace while offering no energy to be fed upon. The people who are meant to be in your life will celebrate this version of you. The ones who can't handle your authenticity will remove themselves, doing you the favor of clearing space for connections that can meet you at your actual level. And here's what isn't understood. While planning was happening for a return, you've been transforming. While lines were being rehearsed, you've been shedding the conditioning that made those lines effective. While the old you was being studied, the new you has been studying how people like that operate. You've been holding back these truths because you didn't want to upset people, but your activation means it's time to speak them clearly. You're about to tell people that the spark being chased is often just trauma recognition in disguise, that intense immediate connection being called soulmate energy, usually a nervous system recognizing familiar dysfunction. Real love doesn't feel like a roller coaster. It feels like coming home. But that message threatens the entire drama-based relationship industry. You're going to point out that someone who truly loves you doesn't make you guess where you stand, doesn't play games with your emotions to keep you hooked, doesn't disappear and reappear strategically to maintain your interest, doesn't use hot and cold tactics to keep you off balance. And when you say this publicly, watch how many people get defensive because this exact behavior is currently being accepted. You're going to explain that love bombing isn't romantic, it's a red flag. When someone is showering you with excessive attention, gifts, declarations, and promises very early on, deep love isn't what's happening. Creating a debt you'll feel obligated to repay is what's happening. Building a fantasy so compelling that you'll overlook flaws when inevitably revealed is what's happening. And this opinion is going to make people very uncomfortable because many are currently love-bombed and calling it romance. You're going to say that if someone wanted to be with you, that person would be with you, period. The excuses about timing, about not being ready, about needing to work on themselves first, these are all just polite ways of saying you're not the priority. And when you share this truth, people who are currently waiting for someone will feel it as a personal attack, even though you're trying to free them. You're going to call out the spiritual bypassing that happens in relationship advice. The people who use terms like divine timing and trust the universe to justify staying in situations that clearly aren't serving anyone. The ones who mistake fear of leaving for faith that things will improve. You're going to say that sometimes divine timing means right now. Leave now. And that's going to ruffle feathers. Something significant is shifting in your relationship with money and creative expression. You're about to discover that the same authenticity revolutionizing your personal relationships is also the key to financial abundance. Your willingness to speak truth, to ruffle feathers, to stand firmly in your perspective regardless of popular opinion, these qualities are about to become your greatest assets. The universe doesn't reward people who play small with resources. The same energy that holds you back from speaking your truth also keeps money flowing away from you instead of toward you. Your activation into authentic self-expression is simultaneously activating multiple income streams that you haven't even recognized yet. Your relationship with money is maturing beyond the scarcity-based thinking that keeps most people trapped in cycles of financial stress. You're beginning to understand that money flows toward people who provide genuine value, who solve real problems, who offer perspectives that others can't find elsewhere. The charity you've extended to others throughout your life, the generosity you've shown even when you couldn't afford it, the times you've helped people without expecting anything in return, all of this is about to circle back to you multiplied. This isn't karma in some abstract sense. This is the natural result of operating from abundance consciousness rather than fear-based hoarding. You're about to step into your role as someone who enhances beauty in others' lives. This isn't about physical appearance, though that may be part of it. This is about your ability to help people see their own worth, to recognize their potential, to stop settling for situations that diminish their light. People will pay for this kind of transformation because it changes everything about how life is experienced. Your earning power is directly connected to your willingness to be controversial when necessary. The people who try to be everything to everyone, who avoid having strong opinions to prevent offending anyone, who dilute messages to appeal to the broadest possible audience. Financial struggle happens because nothing unique or transformative is being provided. Your strength lies in your specificity, your willingness to say this is wrong when others stay silent, your ability to call out patterns that others ignore, your refusal to pretend that all perspectives are equally valid when some are clearly more beneficial than others. The business opportunities approaching you will align with your values rather than requiring you to compromise them. You won't have to choose between financial success and personal integrity. The people who become your clients, customers, or collaborators will be attracted to your authenticity, not despite it. You're going to tell people that staying in a relationship because so much time has already been invested is like continuing to eat a bad meal because half of it has already been eaten. Sunk cost fallacy doesn't just apply to business, it destroys relationships every single day. You're going to point out that the person who keeps breaking up with you and coming back isn't passionate or unable to live without you. Indecisiveness is what's happening. Being kept as a backup option while other possibilities are explored is what's happening. And when those don't work out, returning to the safe bet is what's happening. That's not love, that's convenience. But saying this publicly will upset people who romanticize on-again, off-again situations. You're going to explain that compromise in relationships doesn't mean one person doing all the compromising. It doesn't mean slowly erasing yourself to accommodate someone else's preferences. It doesn't mean always being the one to apologize, to adjust, to make things work. Real compromise is reciprocal. Anything else is just submission disguised as love. You're entering a phase where your inner child healing and your leadership abilities are developing simultaneously. The playful, creative, uninhibited parts of yourself that were suppressed or criticized in the past are being reactivated as sources of power rather than vulnerability. This isn't about becoming childish. This is about reclaiming the fearless authenticity that gets conditioned out of most people as growing up happens. Your willingness to have fun, to be silly, to express joy without apology, to get excited about things that matter to you regardless of whether others understand. These qualities are becoming magnetic. Now let me put you onto something real. Destiny Engine. I built this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation, and attacks while their enemies strutted around unchecked. I want to help you accelerate the speed of your divine justice and step fully into your purpose. And the beauty of it, you don't even have to lift a finger. Destiny Engine takes their downfall and flips it into your rise. This isn't another meditation app, it's declassified consciousness technology, the same mind programming tools your enemies once used to install fear, competition, and scarcity, re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with the cooperative, upgraded operating framework. It generates personalized sequences mapped to your divine purpose. The hardest thing you'll do is put on headphones, press play, and watch your enemies keep digging their own grave. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and turn everything they did to break you into fuel for your rise. Link in the description. People are drawn to others who give themselves permission to be fully alive. Your inner child healing is actually a form of leadership, because you're demonstrating what's possible when someone stops performing for approval. The people closest to you are going through their own adjustments as you step into this version of yourself. Family members, romantic partners, close friends, all learning to relate to someone who no longer sacrifices personal needs to keep everyone else comfortable. This transition requires maturation in ways that may have been avoided. Instead of you managing everyone else's emotions, development of personal emotional regulation skills is required. Instead of you solving problems, finding personal solutions is required. Instead of you absorbing the stress of maintaining family harmony, contributing to creating a peaceful environment is required. This shift is actually a gift to everyone involved, even though it might not feel that way initially. You've been unconsciously enabling people to remain dependent rather than helping develop personal capabilities. Your evolution is forcing evolution in others as well, which serves the highest good, even if resistance to the process exists. Your relationship with your romantic partner, if you have one, is transforming in profound ways. Learning to see the inner child in each other again is happening. The daily responsibilities, the stresses of adult life, the routine interactions that can make couples feel like roommates rather than lovers, all of this is being infused with renewed playfulness and curiosity. You're creating space for vulnerability in ways that feel safe and natural. The inner child healing work you're doing is creating more capacity for intimacy, because you're releasing the defense mechanisms that were necessary for survival, but counterproductive for connection. Your leadership style is emerging as something entirely different from the authoritarian or people-pleasing approaches you've witnessed. You lead by example rather than by force. You inspire growth through your own transformation, rather than trying to change others through pressure or manipulation. People are beginning to look to you for guidance, not because you claim to have all the answers, but because you're willing to admit when you don't know something and figure it out together. Your vulnerability about your own growth process makes others feel safe to be honest about struggles. You're becoming the person who helps others get unstuck from patterns that are keeping them small. This isn't about giving advice or telling people what to do. This is about creating environments where people feel safe to explore who truly is underneath all conditioning and trauma responses. Your ability to spot when someone is hiding light, when settling for situations that don't honor worth is happening, when repeating cycles that no longer serve is happening. This awareness is becoming one of your greatest gifts to others. You help people see themselves more clearly by refusing to participate in self-diminishing narratives. The boundary work you're doing in your personal life is teaching you how to hold space for others without becoming enmeshed in problems. You're learning the difference between being supportive and being enabling, between being caring and being codependent. Your inner child wants to play, to create, to explore, to express without censoring. Your adult self is learning to protect and nurture these impulses rather than shutting them down. This integration is creating a wholeness that others can feel in your presence, and it's inspiring healing of the split between responsibility and joy. Your I don't give a flip energy is also preparing you to address the uncomfortable truths about modern dating and relationships that most people avoid discussing. You're going to talk about how social media has created a culture where people shop for partners like browsing options on a menu, always wondering if someone better is just a swipe away. You're going to point out that the person who's always too busy for you but never too busy for a phone isn't actually busy. Prioritization of you simply isn't happening. And in this age of instant communication, being hard to reach is a choice, not a circumstance. When you say this, people who are currently making excuses for someone's lack of effort will feel attacked. You're going to challenge the narrative that playing hard to get is an effective strategy. You're going to say that healthy relationships aren't built on games and manipulation tactics. Honest communication and genuine interest is what builds them. The right person won't need to be chased or convinced. Clear and consistent choosing of you is what will happen. You're going to address how trauma bonding gets mistaken for deep connection. That intense push-pull dynamic, the dramatic breakups and passionate makeups, the feeling that you can't live without each other, even though peaceful coexistence seems impossible, that's not love. That's addiction to emotional chaos. And people who are currently in these situations will resist this truth with everything available. You're going to say that you can't love someone into being a better person. You can't fix anyone with your patience and understanding. You can't heal anyone with your devotion. People change when deciding to change for themselves, not because someone loves them enough. And this message threatens everyone who's currently trying to save someone. You're going to talk about how watching someone's actions over believing words is the fastest way to see the truth of any situation. People will tell you care is present, while treating you carelessly. Will say you're important while making you feel optional. Will claim a relationship is wanted, while behaving like benefits without commitment are wanted. Your activation means you're done pretending words matter more than behavior. Your consciousness about health and environmental toxins is expanding rapidly, and this awareness is becoming part of your mission to help others reclaim vitality. You're discovering that the same systems that try to keep people confused about love also profit from keeping people sick, tired, and dependent on substances that create more problems than solutions. The processed foods, the chemicals in everyday products, the synthetic ingredients that are banned in other countries but freely used where you live. You're seeing through the marketing that makes these things seem normal or even beneficial. Your body is becoming more sensitive to what serves your highest good and what depletes your energy. You're learning that the fatigue, the mood swings, the brain fog, the digestive issues that so many people accept as normal are often the result of environmental toxins rather than personal failings. The forever chemicals in bandages, the dyes in cereals that cause hyperactivity in children, the additives in bread that serve no nutritional purpose. You're connecting dots that most people never even think to examine. Your coffee ritual is transforming from a caffeine dependency into a health-supporting practice. You're discovering that the quality of what you consume matters more than the quantity. 1 cup of properly sourced toxin-free coffee provides more energy and mental clarity than multiple cups of the commercial versions that contain mold, pesticides, and other contaminants. The supplement industry revelations are eye-opening. You're learning that many products marketed for health actually contain synthetic ingredients that create more stress on your system than benefit. The apple cider vinegar, the organic oils, the grass-fed options, you're discovering that quality matters more than convenience. Your metabolism is responding to these changes in ways that surprise you. The energy crashes, the afternoon fatigue, the need for constant stimulation to maintain focus, these symptoms are diminishing as you eliminate the substances that were creating these problems in the first place. This health awareness is becoming part of how you serve others. You're not trying to become a health expert or replace medical professionals, but you're sharing what you learn from your own experience. People are struggling with energy, mood, and mental clarity, and many have no idea that environment and food choices are contributing to these issues. Your willingness to invest in higher quality food, cleaner products, and health-supporting supplements is paying dividends in your energy levels, mental clarity, and overall sense of well-being. This isn't about spending more money to feel superior. This is about recognizing that your health is the foundation for everything else you want to accomplish. The same discernment you use to identify toxic relationship patterns is being applied to identifying toxic environmental influences. Your body is becoming a more reliable guide for what serves you and what doesn't, and you're learning to trust these signals rather than overriding them for convenience or social acceptance. Now we return to that person from your past. The encounter is imminent. Contact is about to be made with belief that the upper hand is held. The old playbook has been studied. Which buttons used to trigger you is known. Apologies or justifications or seduction has been practiced. Whatever strategy has been decided will work. What isn't known is that you've already seen this coming. Your intuition has been preparing you. Your energy has been fortifying itself. Your divine protection has been activating layers of defense that can't even be perceived. When the move finally happens, something unexpected occurs. The carefully rehearsed lines fall flat. The emotional manipulation tactics bounce off you like arrows off armor. The attempts to gaslight you or guilt you or seduce you back into old patterns meet a wall of calm, centered power that has never been encountered from you before. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to justify your boundaries. You don't need to prove anything. You simply exist in your truth, and that truth is so solid, so unshakable, that the entire strategy crumbles on contact. A battle was expected, and you give nothing to fight against. Emotion was expected, and you give clarity. The old you was expected, and someone unrecognizable is encountered, someone who has transcended the level being operated on. This is your divine protection in action. This is what happens when you align with your authentic purpose. The universe literally rearranges circumstances to support you and to expose those who mean you harm. Watch what happens next. Watch how quickly retreat happens when realization hits that tactics don't work anymore. Watch how the consequences of intentions to manipulate you fall back instead. Watch how people around you suddenly see clearly what you've been seeing all along. This confrontation, when it's over, will mark a turning point. It will be proof of your transformation. It will be evidence that you're no longer operating from the old frequency, and it will clear the final obstacle between you and the next level of your mission. You stand at the threshold of complete integration where your truth-telling abilities, your protective energy, your financial abundance, your health consciousness, and your leadership gifts converge into an unstoppable force for transformation. This isn't the end of your journey. This is you stepping fully into the role you were designed to play. Your relationship with truth has evolved beyond personal preference into cosmic responsibility. You understand now that truth isn't about being right or winning arguments. Truth is about creating clarity in spaces where confusion has been used as a weapon against people's growth and happiness. The people who get uncomfortable when you speak directly, who accuse you of being too intense or too honest, who try to shame you for having strong opinions, these reactions reveal personal relationships with deception. You're no longer available to dim your light to accommodate comfort with darkness. Your energy signature has become unmistakable. When you enter a room virtually or physically, people can feel the presence of someone who isn't performing, isn't hiding, isn't trying to manipulate the energy for personal gain. This authenticity is magnetic to those who are ready for real connection and threatening to those who profit from maintaining illusions. The gratitude practice that grounds you isn't about toxic positivity or pretending everything is perfect. This is about recognizing the abundance that already exists in your life while continuing to grow and evolve. Your ability to appreciate what you have while working toward what you want demonstrates a level of emotional maturity that many people struggle to develop. You're no longer seeking permission to be yourself. The days of looking for external validation, of checking with others before expressing your truth, of moderating your opinions to avoid conflict, that phase of your life is complete. You answer to your highest self and the divine intelligence that guides your path. The enhancement you bring to others' lives happens automatically now. You don't have to try to help people or force your insights on anyone. Your presence alone elevates the energy of every interaction. People leave conversations with you feeling more clear about personal path, more confident in worth, more willing to stop settling for less than deserved. Your silence has become as powerful as your words. You've learned when to speak and when to simply hold space, when to offer guidance and when to allow people to find personal answers, when to share your perspective and when your energy communicates everything that needs to be said. The people who are meant to be part of your continued journey are recognizing you now. The collaborators, the clients, the friends, the romantic partner who can match your frequency, all being drawn into your orbit by the same authentic power that's repelling those who can't handle your level of truth. You've become someone who enhances beauty in all its forms. The beauty of honest communication, of authentic relationship, of creative expression, of financial abundance used responsibly, of health maintained consciously, of personal power exercised with wisdom. Your opinion about love, about life, about what people deserve and what should no longer be tolerated, these perspectives will continue to ruffle feathers, not because you're trying to be controversial, but because truth always disturbs the systems built on lies. And now we return to where we started. Your I don't give a flip is fully activated, not as rebellion, not as defense, but as alignment with your highest truth. The activation you felt at the beginning of this journey is now your permanent operating system. You see, chosen one, this was never about becoming someone new. This was about remembering who you always were underneath all the conditioning, all the people-pleasing, all the self-doubt. This was about activating what was already there, waiting for the right moment to emerge, the person from your past who tried to return. Final test. The moment you passed without even breaking stride proved that your transformation is complete. You didn't need to fight or prove anything. You simply existed in your power, and that was enough. Your era has officially begun. Not because someone gave you permission, not because you finally feel ready, but because you claimed it. You stepped into it. You became it. The people who need your message are already finding you. The income streams are already activating. The divine protection is already operating at full capacity. The health and vitality are already flowing through you. The leadership role is already yours. You're no longer the person everyone runs to when romantic fantasies crumble. You're the person who teaches clear vision before falling for the fantasy. You're the voice that speaks truth when everyone else is whispering comfortable lies. You're the force that disrupts toxic patterns and creates space for authentic love to exist. This is your design. This is your purpose. This is your power. And anyone who can't handle it wasn't meant to be in your orbit anyway. You are no longer becoming. You are the chosen one who was always meant to speak up, stand out, and show others what's possible when someone fully embodies authentic power without apology, without explanation, without compromise. Your I don't give a flip is active. Your opinion of love is about to ruffle all the feathers that need ruffling. And you're ready for every bit of it, because you finally understand that your truth isn't just yours. It's the medicine thousands of people have been waiting for. Welcome to your era, chosen one. It's going to be legendary.